Throughout your life, you will encounter challenging situations. Perhaps you're facing them right now. It's important to remember that such experiences are not unique to you but rather a common aspect of human existence. Unfortunately, we tend to delude ourselves by expecting life to be filled exclusively with moments of happiness and fun, crafting a false reality. Whether we like it or not, at some point, we will confront circumstances that push us to our limits. On the bright side, as human beings, we possess the capacity to control our emotions to varying degrees and confront challenging situations with greater efficiency and less suffering. However, despite this inherent capacity, no one teaches us how to manage our emotions properly during our lives. That's precisely why I'm creating this video today, to discuss temperance, one of the 4 historical virtues. To do this, I'll share a story with you. Once, a king summoned the sages of his court and instructed them to create a precious ring with a diamond from one of the region's finest jewelers. He wanted to conceal a message within the ring that would serve as his lifeline during difficult times, a message he could turn to in moments of despair. He wished for this message to benefit not only himself but also his heirs and their descendants. The message needed to be brief, fitting onto the diamond of his ring. All the learned sages in the king's court were highly knowledgeable and erudite, capable of composing extensive treatises. However, crafting a concise message, one that could fit on a ring's diamond with only a few words, proved to be exceedingly challenging. They scoured their philosophical texts for hours without success. The king had a beloved servant who had been with him throughout his life, a man who had cared for him since the passing of his mother. This servant was considered part of the royal family and enjoyed the respect of all. For this reason, the king consulted him. The servant humbly replied, "I'm neither a scholar nor an erudite, but I do know the message you seek. When I was serving your father, we had a guest, a master. When he departed, I saw him off and, as a gesture of gratitude, he gave me this message." At that moment, the elderly servant wrote the mentioned message on a tiny piece of paper, folded it, and handed it to the king. "But don't read it," he said. "Keep it hidden within the ring. Open it only when you find yourself in a situation with no way out." This moment did not take long to arrive. The kingdom was invaded, and the king's realm faced imminent threat. Fleeing for his life, he was pursued by a formidable enemy. He found himself in a dire predicament when he reached a point where the road ended, revealing a precipice and a deep valley below. A fall would be fatal, and returning was impossible, as the enemy blocked his path. He could hear the galloping of horses, voices, and the imminent approach of his pursuers. It was in this moment that he remembered the ring. He took the piece of paper and unfolded it, finding an incredibly valuable message for that critical moment. It simply said, "This too shall pass." Suddenly, a profound silence enveloped him. His pursuers must have become lost in the forest or taken the wrong path, for he no longer heard the galloping of horses, voices, or the proximity of his enemies. The king felt deeply grateful to his servant and the anonymous master. These words had worked like a miracle. He folded the message back and stored it inside the ring, then rallied his army and successfully reclaimed his kingdom. The day of victory was celebrated with great pomp, and the king felt extremely proud of himself. It was at this moment that the elderly servant by his side said, "Dear king, the time has come for you to read the message from the ring." Perplexed, the king asked, "What do you mean?" "I'm living in a moment of great joy and celebration. People are reveling in my return. We have emerged victorious. Why should I read the message now?" The servant replied, "This message is not only for moments of despair. It's also for times of pleasure, not just for when you feel defeated, but also when you feel triumphant. It serves as a reminder that both good and bad moments are transient. Accept them as part of the duality of life, for they are inherent to the nature of existence." The story I've shared here addresses only two emotions, joy and sadness. However, temperance applies to any emotion. There is no emotion that, when taken to extremes, becomes something positive. Yet, practically any emotion, when managed with moderation, can bring about positive outcomes, including negative emotions. When controlled with temperance, they provide valuable lessons for our lives. In the words of Seneca, temperance is a virtue that entails mastery and moderation of impulses and desires, preventing them from leading us to excesses or deficiencies. In the words of Epictetus, temperance is the pleasant harmony of feelings that results from a life in which desires are controlled, and reason acts as our guide. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, temperance is the virtue that helps us govern and direct our passions and desires, avoiding extremes and maintaining a balanced and moderate life. In essence, temperance is the art of finding equilibrium in our emotions. It means not allowing ourselves to be consumed by extreme joy or overwhelmed by deep sadness, as both are fleeting. The acceptance of life's dualities, good and bad, pleasure and pain, is key to mastering our emotions. One of the crucial aspects of emotional mastery is the understanding that what you're feeling in any given moment will not last forever. You probably know no one who has never experienced happiness or someone who has never felt sorrow. In both cases, these emotions are not permanent. Throughout life, good and bad things happen, and it's essential to embrace them as part of the natural ebb and flow of existence. To summarize, the power of emotional mastery lies in recognizing that life is a continuous cycle of changing emotions, where nothing remains static. Both joy and sorrow come and go. With this understanding, you can navigate life with greater resilience and composure, whether facing challenges or celebrating triumphs. As the renowned author and philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So, keep in mind that emotional mastery allows you to paint your soul with the vibrant and balanced colors of temperance. Now, I invite you to apply these principles to your own life. Remember that all emotions are temporary, and practicing temperance can lead to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Subscribe to our channel for further guidance and inspiration on mastering your emotions and achieving emotional balance. As you embark on this journey, keep in mind the words of the anonymous master, "This too shall pass." Thank you for watching, and may you find harmony and temperance in your emotional journey.